A very good evening to all, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is 18 June 2026, Thursday class. So we will be continuing our sharing from our this book, the Heart Sutra, second edition. We are at Appendix 6, page 243. Okay, as usual, we will have our Puja. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无弥勒佛，南无弥勒佛，南无弥勒佛。南无药师佛，南无药师佛，南无药师佛，南无文殊菩萨，南无文殊菩萨，南无文殊菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨。南无地藏王菩萨，南无准提菩萨，南无准提菩萨，南无准提菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨。阿拉汉萨玛萨布多巴嘎瓦，布当巴嘎วันตัง阿比瓦迪米。Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kamesu Miccācara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musawada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Surameraya Majapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let us pay respect to Bhajan. Buddhang Pujayami. Dhammang Pujayami. Sanghang Pujayami. Okay, y'all can be seated. Then we will off the light. And as usual, have our half an hour of awareness-based meditation. This awareness-based meditation is very simple when you understand. Its main intent is to develop the stability of inner awareness. Awareness means mindfulness before the knowing, which is sati. So sati or awareness is just an awareness before the knowing, before you think, before you perceive, before you create the movement within your sankhara activity. So understanding this is very important, which means whenever you are without thought, you are already aware. So awareness, you don't have to learn. It is already there the moment you are without thought. So the silent mind without thought is awareness itself. So to develop it, you only need to relax body and mind. Then maintain awareness. Whatever arises, it has to be from the six sense basis. Any other sense basis upon contact of mind with the respective sense data and the respective sense basis will trigger a movement. Normally the first to arise is like the physics experiment, that respective consciousness manifests. Like it is from the organ of seeing, which is the eye. Then there is this seeing consciousness. That's why the Buddha said, in the seeing, it's only that consciousness. There is no egoic mind that see. No one see, nothing see. It's just that arising of the consciousness. But as a human being, we are so conditioned. And our conditioned mind, with all its views, opinion, conditioning and belief system, and habitual tendency, they will tend to have the tendency to react to what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we tactily feel and think. That's how thought arises. Sankhara activity comes to be. So to meditate is not to arise all this thought activity. To meditate is to maintain a relaxed body and mind and ability to remain silent without thought. Means aware. Maintaining awareness is a skill. You need to train so that the mind is constantly in the state of inner awareness without thought. So the four support that I have taught you all, they are very important. Where they support the arising of the awareness within. So when you relax body and mind, you don't think. Then you maintain awareness, you also don't think. So whatever arises, aware, finish. Don't let it continue with a thought proliferation or thinking. So maintaining awareness is to maintain the silent mind, not to think. Then after that, continuously let it stabilize. Stabilizing the awareness is the third support. Then when you can do it very well, means you are ready to move on, to train yourself, to develop the fourth support, which is trust, Trust, trusting your inner nature, to develop the meditative movement. To do that, you have to silence your mind, then stay at the heart area. Don't try to know, don't try to do. Just silent. Stay at the heart. Then let the awareness nature pick up whatever phenomena that it can pick up. Or any heartbeat, you can perceive it or be aware of it. Just stay with it. Or any vibration within your heart area. Well, by that time you can stabilize your inner awareness using the first three support. You will have the ability to be aware of the movement, whether it's a heartbeat or a pulsation or a vibration within your heart area. Just stay there and let it pick up. Then try not to arise any thinking. Maintain the inner awareness. Wherever the phenomena is, the awareness is with it as it stays. Then if it moves on itself, let it move. That is what trust is. Trusting your inner nature to develop that awareness-based meditative movement. Okay, with that, I will let you develop the training of the mind. I will set the alarm for 30 minutes. Then after that, when the time is up, upon hearing the alarm, I will ring the bell 3 times. So upon hearing the bell, you can mindfully come out of the meditation. Then whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed, try to maintain them. These are the mind state that you need to develop the daily mindfulness, leading to heedfulness throughout the day. Okay, now I will set the alarm for 30 minutes. Then you can meditate to develop the stability of inner awareness or sati for 30 minutes. You can slowly, mindfully come out of meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed through the training of this inner awareness. These are the mind state that you need to allow you to develop the what we call daily mindfulness, the stability of it while in the midst of living life. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in their entirety, let the deities or Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which is heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakavalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajasa Sunantu Sakamokadang Dhamma Sabanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Sabanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Sabanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. อิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิจาจารณสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิดูอานุตตโรปุริสธัมมสารติสัตตาเดวามนุสสานังบุตโธภะคะวะติสวากขาโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมสันทิติโกอัคคาลิโกเอหิปัสสิโกโอปานายิโกปัจจตังเวดิตาโบวินุหิติสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอุจุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆญาณปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยาดิดังจัตตาริปุริสยุคานิอัตตปุริสปุกาลาเอสาภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุเนโยปะหุเนโยดักเขเนโยอัญจลิการะเนโยอนุตตรังปุญญังเขตังโลกาสาติสาธุสาธุสาธุ Okay, you can be seated and we'll continue from Appendix 6, page 243 of our Heart Sutra, second edition. Appendix 6, the title is Training the Mind. So training the mind, we are understanding the essential Dhamma and meditation as taught by the Buddha. So this one is very important. That's why I used to share with you all of meditation must be done with understanding. Without proper understanding, you're in fact wasting your time and you will lose focus. You will end up doing something else, mainly thought-based activity instead of awareness-based meditation. So here there is a note in bracket. These are the notes compiled mainly from various talks given by me at Tiratana Buddhist Society, Klang. That was 12 years ago on 20th June 2014. Also Thursday class, especially the one held at Brother Sui An's house on 10 July 2014 and March 2014. Then also Cameron Highland Retreat, Sampo Temple. So Appendix 6A was added in the second edition. First edition this was not added because later on the teaching requires this Trinity triangle to understand the cultivation of awareness-based meditation. Okay, now you look at the chart. This Trinity triangle. There is a green triangle. Then there is a horizontal arrow. Then the sloping arrow. One sloping towards the right, the other one sloping towards the left. C at the apex represent the pure consciousness or the pure awareness nature. That nature is the first to arise from our true nature or some call it the oneness nature, the Buddha nature. Each and every of us, living beings, we have a nature within, and that nature is very unique in the sense that it is the unconditioned. From there, all things arise. So sometimes that particular nature, they also call it the unconditioned nibbanic nature. And some call it the original nature. Well, originally, it was really like that. It's the unborn. Because it's unborn, it never dies. There is no condition, manifestation within that nature. That nature is just a very unique nature. Sometimes they call it the singularity, like the scientists. From there, all things arise, the Big Bang, everything. Then, underneath the pure awareness nature, in bracket, I put the word oneness nature. Then, the footnote follow. The essence of mind, in bracket, which is also called sometimes true nature or the original nature. Original nature is normally used by the Mahayana tradition. In the Mahayana tradition, they call it the original nature, but in Mandarin it's called 本来的面目. Means originally it was like that, suchness. Then some call it our true nature, but it's not a being. That's why the word, although we sometimes call it, each and every one of us, we have our true nature within. But it is not a permanent, unchanging entity, a being inside there. No, it's just a nature. Then the second footnote is the unconditioned. It is before the arising of thought. That's why it's beyond thought, beyond time, the psychological time, or beyond the mundane thinking, mundane mind. Then, because it's the unconditioned, it cannot be perceived or sensed. Then lastly, it's characterized by tranquility, stillness, the silent mind. That's why your true mind is actually characterized by silence within. And because it's silent, it's also tranquil and still. So the stillness of mind, the silent mind, the tranquility of mind, these are the characteristics of that nature. Then from there, all things start. That's why all thought arises from the pure awareness nature. So from that sea, the pure consciousness or pure awareness nature, the movement starts. You can meditate. We are moving down the right slope. Means the arrow pointing down to the S down there. S represents our sense basis. As a human being or any living being, we have 6 sense bases. So these sense bases, they arise when the form and mind arise. That's why the karmically conditioned 5 aggregate of form and mind, it has its physical form that have the sense basis within. And because the consciousness of the mind is trapped inside, that's why it can give rise to the 6 type of respective sense door consciousness and animate us into a conscious being. That's why as a human being or a living being, we are capable of being conscious. For our case, we have the six sense basis that can make us conscious of what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we tactily feel and think. So this is the basis of living life. This is how we can become conscious, and this is how we can know the world. Then we can also interact with the world through our senses, especially through our mental thought process, activity, the whatever conditioning, belief system, views, opinion, and all the knowledge that we accumulate through living. As we go through life, we accumulate all this in the name of understanding. Actually, is knowledge. And this knowledge, they are not wisdom, where they are accumulated views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, etc. Everything that we experience, good or bad, we accumulate them and deposit them to our brain. That's why the beginning of thought, activity, or thinking is the beginning of this process of registration. So as we register to the brain, we accumulate all this knowledge. Then this becomes the basis of what we are. And without understanding, we have this tendency to act from memory. And what is memory? It carries with it everything, good and bad, including all our emotion, our fear, our worry, our anxiety, our phobia, our insecurity. Whatever that we experience, including all the joy, of course, tranquility, stillness, and peace when we develop our meditation well. Then all our thought activity, planning, scheming, cunningness, including your whatever conditioned thinking and habitual tendency, how we actually perceive the world, perceive society, perceive environment, the living being, and how we perceive things according to our conditioning, our education, our belief system, etc. That's why our mind constantly stir and react to sense experience, because we lack wisdom, we lack understanding. And if you constantly act according to memory, which is not wisdom, then basically you are not acting at all. That's why you have to act with understanding, born of wisdom, or born of the Dhamma, as taught by the Buddha, following the Dhamma way. So all these are the understanding. But before we awaken, we don't know how to act. That's why we always go this direction. From the pure consciousness or pure awareness nature, you don't know how to use it. Where you don't know you have that true mind, that silent mind. You straight away create thought through your sense basis. Upon contact, actually the first thing to arise is the pure consciousness. Like the physics experiment, upon contact, the switch, the light bulb lights up. The lighting up is like you become conscious. Conscious of the respective six sense law. Can be conscious of what you see, what you hear, what you smell, taste, tactile, feel, and think. The moment you see, you have to perceive it through brain, memory, knowledge. That's how the perception create that so-called movement. Because that perception that we develop through memory is from our conditioned mind, our views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, including all the habitual tendency that we have carried over a long period of conditioning. So what happens is, from see, you move to the senses and create the thinking, the thought process. You input the content of consciousness very fast, like lightning speed. Then you stir and react to sense experience, thereby creating mundane thinking and experiences. That's why at the S there, I put there mundane thinking mind or consciousness. So this mundane thinking or consciousness is what you experience and call life. And it's basically like the physics experiment, the sense basis. Upon contact, the light bulb lights up. The lighting up is like you become conscious, the mind become conscious. Actually, it's that consciousness only, nature's law. No one inside to perceive, or to think, or to react, or stir the mind. The egoic mind that manifests is due to our superiority, self-delusion, where we don't have the wisdom to see things as they are. We perceive it through our views, opinion, and conditioning. We believe this form and mind is what we are. That's why that egoic mind, that personality or the ego, is the basis of superiority, creating the three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. Because the moment we perceive that we exist as an entity, then what happens? We will develop what we call selfishness, craving, desire, attachment. That's why the aggregates of greed is very powerful. All of our selfishness, greediness, craving, desire, they are born of our greed, including whatever covetousness or clinging, grasping, and holding on to things, trying to own them, trying to possess them, trying to have them, thinking that we exist and we can own them. But without the meditative insight or wisdom, we cannot awaken to the fact that the five aggregate of form and mind is not a permanent, unchanging entity. Hence, he know you, he know me. It's just a phenomena, dependent originating phenomena, except it lasts longer. That's why we have a lifespan. Then we go through the process of birth, aging, disease, sickness, and finally we call it death, when consciousness separates from the form, when the supporting conditions cease to be. So this is how we live our life. And when you live your life this way, you become heedless. And if you try to meditate this direction using thought, is thought-based meditation. That's why below the mundane thinking, mind or consciousness, and the sense bases that are inside our physical body or physical form, we give rise to what we call the five aggregates of form and mind. And this one, like I have explained to you all, as a human being, there are two aspects to it. The first aspect is, as a human being, we have a physical body. We call that the form aggregate, the physical form. Then we have the consciousness trapped inside. We inquire, what can our mind do? Then the other four aggregate will manifest. Our mind can feel, that's why there is a feeling aggregate. Our mind can develop perception through our various sense door activity. Our sense door consciousness, where we input the content of consciousness. So this aggregate of feeling and perception are very predominant. Then the moment we perceive through our memory, our views, opinion, condition and belief system, we stir our mind. We create emotion. We create mental intention. We create all the thought activity. That's why we call that the third aggregate, sankhara. Even our planning, our scheming, our cunningness, our covetousness, our desire, craving, all these are part of sankhara. Our mental intention, good or bad, moral or immoral. All these arise, manifest. Then apart from feeling, perception and thought activity and mental states, what else can our mind do? The last one is consciousness. It can become conscious. Conscious of what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we tactily feel and think. That's why I always use the word, we are a conscious being, capable of becoming conscious. That's how we become like animated into a living being, like we are alive, like we exist. But it's actually following the law of dependent origination, paticca samuppada. That's why the last footnote is dependent origination, or in Pali is paticca samuppada, PS. So this is how we know the world and how we interact with the world, through our senses. So through the senses, we become a conscious being. That's why in the four circle formation, the first is our oneness nature, our Buddha nature, or pure nature, or true nature, or original nature. Then the first to arise is the second circle, the pure awareness nature, which is the sea up there at the apex. So from there, the living being move, especially for us as a human being, which we are more familiar. So that one can move either way. You can move while retaining the pure awareness nature inside and develop the left arrow movement. Means the silent mind that meditate via sati, or the pure awareness nature. This will develop the direct seeing, the insight in the phenomena, to develop the understanding or wisdom born of samadhi, right view. After you have seen it, after you can see things as they are through the silent mind, you develop right view. And right view gives rise to wisdom, which is yoniso manasikara. Then from there, you use it to live life. That's why you don't act according to memory anymore. You act according to understanding, following the Dhamma way. So that is for the noble living, the life of an enlightened being. So the horizontal arrow is for noble living. But most living beings, even human beings, most of them, they don't know how to move in the left arrow, left direction. Means develop the mindfulness within, stability or sati or awareness, to meditate, to develop the direct seeing, the silent mind, to meditate. Most of them live with the right arrow, the triangle, the right slope. So when you go that direction, it's mundane living. You create mundane living or mundane experiences. Then within the whole triangle, actually, we start with the pure awareness nature. That's why I put the totality, the world of awareness. So this world of awareness, living beings seldom explore. Where you don't know how to meditate, you don't know how to train your mind to develop the pure awareness within or to stabilize it. You cannot even perceive this pure awareness nature within. So the world of awareness or totality or awareness cannot be experienced at all, cannot even be known. That's why with that understanding, then you realize actually when you don't have the understanding, it's not easy to meditate. But when you understand, it's very easy. That's why meditation has to be done with understanding. So this Trinity triangle is a very good, what we call pictorial presentation of how meditation is to be understood and developed. So when you understand this, the moment you are without thought, you are already aware. So you maintain the silent mind, relax body and mind, then maintain awareness, maintain the silent mind. Don't try to know, don't try to do anything. Then the silence will allow you to see things as they are, insight in the phenomena and awaken. That's how you develop the understanding. That's why J. Krishnamurti also developed the understanding. He defined awareness as the choiceless, silent awareness of what is, or observation of what is, which is the reality, without the interference from the thinking, the thought process, our knowledge, our views, our opinion and conditioning. So this understanding is very important. When you understand, you know how to meditate. Relax, maintain awareness or the silent mind, then stabilizing it by not thinking. That's it, finish. Whatever arises, aware. Then just relax and allow the mind to become very quiet and very still. So the free mind without thought is the basis of meditation. That mind is the true mind, the silent mind, the meditative mind. That mind can develop wisdom and understanding. Okay, so with this, we move on. Huh? So now we come to Appendix 6.1. Huh? What is a trained mind? So after the above explanation, now you will understand what is a trained mind. A trained mind is the mind that can realize what that true mind is. The mind that is in the state of pure awareness, without thought. That is a trained mind. So a free mind without thought is a trained mind. It's only aware, mindful. So a trained mind is always silent. That's why we call it the silent mind, the meditative mind. And it's always heedful, peaceful, relaxed, and naturally aware within. That's why it is characterized by tranquility and stillness. It's just quiet, tranquil, still. That's why it's silent. Heedful, peaceful, there is clarity. All these are the characteristics. Then the second dot, which is the note to explain it clearer. What is a trained mind? Yeah? The trained mind also has the clarity born of inner peace and inner awareness. And because it has inner peace and inner awareness, it can see things as they are. leading to the wisdom needed to arise the wise attention or uniso, manasikara, at every moment of sense experience, so that one is always at peace with the moment to live life. Otherwise, you are heedless, constantly thinking, lost in thought. So if you cannot be aware to understand what is going on, then you are not living life. You may be conscious of life, but you don't have the awareness within to understand life. That's why you are not living. Then the third dot is, the trained mind will listen to you. You want it to be silent, it will just be silent, peaceful and aware within. It will just do that. Means after you have trained the mind, it will listen to you. It's like a good servant that serves you well. But if you don't train, it becomes heedless. Then it doesn't listen to you. You wander off everywhere. It creates a lot of heedless thinking, unnecessary fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow and lamentation, mental suffering. That's why you have to train this mind. The untrained mind is the devil's workshop, they always say. Then the fourth note is, you can use it and direct it appropriately to cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path, leading to heedfulness. Then the next note is, it will also become like a good servant to you. It will serve you well. Then a trained mind is ever mindful, constantly meditative. Hence, is the basis from which wisdom will keep on arising. Or it is the base from which wisdom will keep on arising. So having understood what is a trained mind, now we move on to the untrained mind. 6.2. What is an untrained mind? An untrained mind is heedless, constantly lost in thought, which means it thinks a lot and reacts easily to sense experience. And is constantly lost in thought, preoccupied with the thinking, the worry, the fear, the emotion, the sadness or unhappiness or whatever. Most of the time. And as per Dhammapada verse 21, the heedless are as if dead, means spiritually you are as if dead. You don't stand a chance to develop the awakening, the enlightenment, born of spiritual training. Then the untrained mind is like a devil's workshop, and it will make you very miserable and evil. You see, it's like the devil occupies your mundane thinking. So the devil's workshop, you have a devil in your workshop, you know a devil is an evil being. The evil roots of greed, hatred and delusion, they actually manifest unendingly. And this is the most dangerous to be. Do not allow your mind to be heedless. Otherwise it becomes a devil's workshop. To be heedless means to have the evil roots of greed, hatred and delusion within, especially sakkayaditthi, self-delusion. Then an untrained mind, you also have no control over it. It actually controls you and take over your life, causing you suffering. Because it is so powerful, the untrained mind. Through its views, opinion, conditioning, fear, or the negativity of emotion, can cause you so much karmic negativity and suffering and misery. Then the thinking mind, the mundane mind, which is heedless, need to be trained. This one is obvious. The true mind, you don't have to train. You only have to realize it. Then the next note is, deluded with wrong view, this untrained mind. It easily becomes angry, emotional, selfish, and fearful. Hence all the suffering. Then this untrained mind also has no understanding of what is going on in life. It lacks wisdom because it is deluded, self-delusion, sakkayaditi. Then 6.3 is, how do we train the mundane mind, the thinking mind, the heedless mind? Training the mind. Without wisdom, living beings are heedless. Hence they suffer because they don't understand life. Without wisdom means you have failed to train your mind to be aware, to be heedful, and you cannot meditate according to the Trinity triangle from the left hand side to develop the wisdom. Then to understand life, one must understand the secret of life, which is the Four Noble Truths as taught by the Buddha. So we have to start from the Four Noble Truths. To understand the Four Noble Truths, one must train one's mind to be heedful, to understand what is going on in life, so as to understand who we are and what we are, and how our mind functions, so that we can understand what causes us suffering, and how our deluded mundane mind get muddled up in life. Then the fourth note is, the untrained mind is heedless and not peaceful because of the five mental hindrances of sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness of mind and doubt. This mental hindrance, the five mental hindrances, will hinder your mind from entering the meditative state of inner peace with inner awareness within. And to overcome these five mental hindrances, one only needs to cultivate the opposite five spiritual faculties of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi and Panya as taught by the Buddha. So a lot of cultivators make the mistake of trying to do away or push away the mental hindrance. They use their thought. They try to come out with thought-based solution, which will not help, because they arise due to the lack of five spiritual faculty to counter them. So you only need to train your mind to have the five spiritual faculty that can enable you to develop the understanding of spiritual teaching. That's why you don't go and fight the hindrance. Don't go and suppress and control them. Like the one to arise, the anger, the hatred, thinking that anger is you and it's an evil root. Then you try to suppress it, control it, don't want to get angry. That is not the way. You stir your mind is where you lack wisdom, the spiritual faculty of Panya. You lack the meditative mind, Sati and Samadhi, to develop the right view and the right understanding. Then without Saddha and Virya, you actually cannot start. Saddha is faith in the Buddha and his teaching. Then Virya is after understanding who the Buddha is and how unique his teaching is and how great a being he is. Then the faith actually develop and become unshakable. Then it will drive you to cultivate that spiritual zeal, Z-E-A-L, or tenacity to go this way, to cultivate his teaching, is what Virya is all about. So all this understanding are very important, very beautiful. Then when the spiritual faculty, the five spiritual faculty are there, the mental hindrance will be gone and the mind will be trained automatically. because the five mental hindrance will cease by itself. With the five spiritual faculties, it will counter the five mental hindrance naturally. All the hindrance will cease. So cultivating the spiritual faculty and stabilizing it to become powers or balas is very important. That is the ultimate training. That is why we should work on the cultivation of the five spiritual faculty via our puja, our devotional practice, and our daily religious routine. We are constantly listening to the Dhamma, contemplation, reflection, then meditation, to develop the three types of corresponding wisdom: Suttamaya Panya, Chintamaya Panya, and Bhavanamaya Panya. Then the next note is the three phases of Dhamma. We must understand Dhamma can be cultivated in three phases. Phase 1 is just the learning of the teaching. We call it pariyatti. So the learning of the teaching or the Dhamma is taught by the Buddha is phase 1. That's why that one you can develop it through nowadays reading, constantly listening to the sutta or Dhamma as shared by cultivator or teachers. Yeah. Then after you have learned the teaching, you must move on to phase 2, putting the Dhamma learned into daily life practice. Means patipati, the second phase. So patipati is the cultivation. We are putting the Dhamma studied into cultivation or practice in daily life so that it can become a living reality. So this phase involves the three turnings. The first turning is Suttamaya Panya, constantly listening to the sutta or read about the sutta or develop Dhamma knowledge or Dhamma understanding through listening from video, audio, or nowadays recordings, etc. Then the second turning is after you have listened, you should reflect on it, contemplate, and inquire deep to stabilize the understanding, thereby arising the second turning wisdom, which is Chintamaya Panya. Panya born of contemplation, inquiry, and reflection. Then the third turning is Bhavana Maya Panya. Bhavana is the meditative training. So this one, you have to meditate, develop awareness-based meditation or sati-based meditation to awaken. And when you can do it, this is third phase of Dhamma cultivation. So third phase, they call it Pativeda. It's a phase where you reap the fruit of one's cultivation or hard work. Means after you are awakened, you can live the noble life of an enlightened being. So these three phases of Dhamma, they are presented on the table below. So this one combines everything. The spiritual faculty on the first left column. Then in between is the three turnings of the Four Noble Truths, how it's linked. Then the three phases of Dhamma cultivation also link on the third column. So the first two spiritual faculty is for you to develop pariyatti. So pariyatti developed through Suttamaya Panya, the first turning wisdom born of hearing or reading the sutta or Dhamma, in bracket, nowadays they can be made available through recordings, talks, live talk, books, notes, even internet, etc. Then second turning wisdom is Chintamaya Panya. Second turning wisdom, like I explained earlier, developed through contemplation, reflection and inquiry into all the teaching or sutta or Dhamma that the Buddha has expounded, so that one can stabilize and assimilate all the Dhamma sharing or teaching that one had heard and read about, to set the base for further understanding later on via any of the first, second or third turning wisdom. Then phase 1 of Dhamma cultivation, parayati, which is the learning of the teaching, to develop a very stable understanding of the Dhamma, can arise. Okay, move up. Then second phase of the Dhamma means how to put what you have heard and learned to practice. That one you need third turning wisdom, bhavanamaya panya, meditative awareness base. The moment the mind is silent without thought, you are already in sati, so you don't try to be mindful or aware. Then use a silent mind to cultivate noble eightfold path. That is the meditation as taught by the Buddha, to become heedful throughout the day. A truly silent mind sees the real Dhamma via direct seeing, or seeing things as they are. So this one needs the spiritual faculty of sati and samadhi, leading to wisdom. So when sati and samadhi is there, they will lead to the direct seeing, the insight, the awakening. That's why wisdom will arise. So this is phase 2 of Dhamma cultivation. We call patipati. Cultivation, we are putting the Dhamma learned into practice in daily life, so that it can become a living reality. Then later on, when the spiritual faculty become unshakable, it becomes balas. Move it up, see. Relative advice, it is not difficult to cultivate patipati if you are really determined and sincere. Just cultivate the saddha, virya and sati, leading to the samadhi. Sati, when stabilized, will accumulate into samadhi until they are unshakable. Then the mental faculties, the spiritual faculties, will become spiritual powers or balas. Then wisdom will keep on arising. Then you will awaken. So phase 3 of Dhamma, which is Pativeda, reaping the fruit of our hard work and cultivation, is the most beautiful phase of one's life, where one can truly live life to the fullest, leading to noble living, leading to a noble life, living the life of an enlightened being. Okay, good. And 6.4. 6.4 emphasize on the importance of sati to walk the path of Dhamma. Why is sati or mindfulness or awareness so important? Sati is extremely important because without sati, one will become heedless. Without sati, one will not be able to follow the advice of the Buddha to strive on with heedfulness, or apamadena sampadeta. Without sati, one will not be able to follow the advice of the Buddha to avoid all evil, do good and purify the mind, following his Dhammapada verse 183 advice. So all this advice, you need sati, even to keep your precept. You need sati. You undertake the training rule, you need sati to see. Then you need sati to contemplate, to reflect, to inquire, to silently or attentively listen. The art of listening. All this you need sati. And to meditate, you definitely need sati. To be heedful, you also need sati. Then number 4. Sati is extremely important because without sati, one will not be able to keep one's precept. Then, without sati, there will be no spiritual faculty. The 5 spiritual faculty, there is always sati inside there. Then without sati, you cannot cultivate the 4 foundation of mindfulness, where these are all mindfulness, awareness-based cultivation. Then number 7, without sati, you will not be able to investigate the Dhamma Vichaya, the second the second factors of enlightenment. Then without sati, there will be no 7 factors of enlightenment. Then lastly, without sati or mindfulness, there will be no noble eightfold path cultivation. So now you see why sati is very important. There is awareness-based meditation. Okay, the next part. Important advice to meditator. So this one are the pointer. Always remember, don't try to know anything during meditation. Well, who wants to know? The thought wants to know. That's why you just silence the mind and let things be, to see things as they are. Because when you can see things as they are, you will insight in the phenomena. You will understand what is going on within nature, within the moment. That's why I wrote here, the understanding will arise on its own when you silence your mind and let things be. Then the moment you are truly silent and relaxed, sati is already there. This is the silent mind, the meditative mind, that can investigate into all phenomena. Then let the phenomena tell you the story. Don't go and look for the story with your thoughts and Dhamma knowledge. Then there's another note. The pitfall of thought-based meditation is one is limited by the instrument that one uses to develop the meditation. Hence the inability to realize enlightenment which is beyond thought and beyond mind. So when you use thought-based meditation or thought-based approach, you cannot realize the Dhamma which is beyond thought, beyond mind. Because the instrument which is thought limits you. One needs to inquire deeply to find out for oneself who is the meditator. If it's the thought which is actively doing all the noting, labeling, chattering, and trying to describe the Dhamma, and trying to develop the meditation, then there is not the silent mind meditating. The real Dhamma can only arise or be realized when you are truly silent without thought. Then the next part is using the silent mind, which is the meditative mind or awareness nature within. When your mind is silent, without any thought, you will understand everything that is going on within your 5 mental aggregates of forming mind. And you will awaken to the 3 universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Then when you can silently observe, you will develop the awakening. We are seeing things as they are, and ability to insight into phenomena. That's why the silent mind, the inner awareness, the stability of it is very important. Then when you can do that, you will understand how upon contact, consciousness come to be. And then how within the content of consciousness, you will see how your mind stirs after you input your mental intention, born of your wrong view. Then how upon contact the seven universals manifest. These seven universals are the mind state, which are common to all consciousness, how they arise simultaneously. The feeling part, you will feel it clearly, and you will understand how upon contact feeling arises. But because you don't have wisdom, or you lack yoniso manasikara, wisdom at the moment of sense experience, wise attention, and move it opposite. Feeling will immediately be conditioned into craving. Hence, without wisdom or yoniso manasikara, you cannot cut a feeling. You will see all this within your meditation, and that is the real direct seeing. That is how you will come to understand clearly that this condition arising mind, the stirring of the mind and the reactive mind, are not your true mind. They arise because of your wrong view. That's why it's dependent originating. Then the Four Noble Truths, one by one, you will come to understand them. You will come to understand the reality of life and existence, what is suffering, and the cause behind its arising. Then the note. The seven universal mental factors are called Sabbacitta, Sadharana, or Chittasikas. These are common Chittasikas to all consciousness, Sabbacitta. They perform the most rudimentary and essential cognitive function, without which consciousness of an object would be impossible. So they are, pasat is contact, then within the content of consciousness, the seven universals have feeling, which is Vedana. Then it also has the perception, which is Sanya. Then it also have the volition, or what we call Cetana, mental intention, volition. Then Ekagata is one-pointedness of mind. Then the sixth Cetasika, universal Cetasika, is Jevit Indriya. This is called the life faculty, the life faculty. Then the last one is Manasikara, or attention. So that one is just a note for those who has developed the interest and want to understand more. They are actually from the Abhidhamma teaching. Okay, we move up. Okay, this one I think we stop here. We are 9:45 already, so we stop here. Now we come to the second session, which is meditation reporting, followed by whatever question you may have. You can ask me any question regarding the teaching, the meditation, and how to apply the teaching to help you develop the understanding of life and how to overcome whatever life problem that you may have. Also sharing based on your meditative experience or cultivation, Dhamma in daily life that you have realized or developed.
Good evening, Brother Teo, Mrs. Teo, and all Kalitas.
Yeah, sadhu.
There's one thing which I find interesting, which turned out, how to say, I hope that it will turn out fine, but in the beginning, it was like not sure how it will turn out.
Yeah.
So,
like Xuan Ho always said, if you perceive without negativity, following Noble Eightfold Path, whatever that may appear not so conducive or smooth sailing will turn out to be a blessing in disguise finally. That's why I never perceive any life situation with negativity just because it doesn't point to a favorable condition for having the good life or the happiness and joy. Because sometimes it's like a blessing in disguise, it will turn out to be beautiful, provided the mind understand, means never perceive anything with negativity or mind state. Then develop the cultivation following Noble Eightfold Path. You follow Noble Eightfold Path, it will lead to the end of all suffering. You'll never go wrong. That's why Shen Hua always use that. But he used Mandarin to describe it, which I find very useful. He talked in Mandarin. He said, 一个不好的起头, something that arises initially like not favorable. But if you don't perceive it with negativity, follow Noble Eightfold Path, then it will turn out to be a blessing in disguise, which was very beautifully described by him. Now you continue. Yeah, Manyan.
Yeah, right. So, you know that my father, his aspiration was to donate his body to silent mental.
Yes.
But silent mental, there is a few conditions. And one condition is the patient must not have infectious disease.
Yes.
So when he was warded for pneumonia, the doctor said he wanted to test him for TB. So, you know, that kind of worried me because TB is infectious.
Yeah. But it turned out negative.
It turned out negative. But in the beginning, it was kind of, because I know he will be very disappointed.
If it turned out positive. Yeah.
Yeah. But eventually, no, it wasn't. But there was still another two conditions. And he previously told me that, you have to hurry out when I pass away and inform, because they only accept the body between not more than 4 hours.
Yeah.
What he told me lah. So there was no problem because he was already in the hospital. But that day also, when I think back, he only reached Silent Mental's freezer about after 3 hours. He also still took 3 hours.
Very good. Yeah, sadhu.
Yeah. So that one okay, but the last one I didn't imagine that it would be a hindrance, because earlier he told me many years back when he signed up, there were only 3 freezers at a time. So he said the chances may be quite slim lah, because if you do no more, he cannot go in.
Correct.
But this one I didn't think of it at that time. But that day when he reached the office, the person in charge actually looked at me and said, "Your father is very blessed."
Wow,
he said, "You look," and he pointed at the freezer on the wall.
Yeah.
There's only one left.
Sadhu. Yeah, one last one for that day.
I actually quickly told my father, "See, your aspiration has been fulfilled."
Yeah, fulfilled, come true, yes.
And there's nothing for him to worry anymore.
Sadhu, very good.
I wanted to, but before that, it was like a bit confusing for me, because I was praying for him to get well, but at the same time, also pray for him to be assisted by silent mental, like very
that is what his noble wish is. That is what he actually wanted. He actually have that intent very strong.
Yeah, that was one thing that I thought.
Very good. Yeah, sadhu. Thanks for that sharing. That was very good.
The other one was Brother Teo, you remember you asked me how is my father?
Yeah.
Then I
How
told you
how
that,
is his pneumonia?
yeah. So I told you that doesn't seem to be
Yeah.
quite good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you say that, oh, then it's because of the age factor
Yeah, that's
already.
why I reply. Don't worry, because it's very likely old age. The first noble truth reality, your dad already 88 plus, so it's quite normal, and very blessed to have such good body to live so long. And most of the time, he is still mobile, then without major problem. Because I also have come across many cases. Some are kilometers, their parents live until 90 plus, so that one not easy to take care because their senses, there are a few, the senses already no more functioning, their vision gone, hearing gone, but their uh, ability to maintain the life force is still there. So that one need a lot of care, a lot of cleaning, feeding, and all those things. So there are many Kermita who actually spend a lot of time caring for them, which was very good, very beautiful. And those who go through, even like your case, you really learn firsthand about the first noble true reality of old age and sickness leading to death. That's why all this in the second turning of the first noble truth. This noble truth of dukkha is to be understood. You can only understand it when you can confront it, uh, like what you have gone through and like what I went through, because when my parents are still around, I also observe them. My mother also passed away at 89 years old, also very elderly age. But my mother very blessed. She never fell down. But she lived until the last day. Then she realized something not right. Then he told my youngest brother where they are in Alaska. She was staying with him. Then my younger brother called me. The moment I received the phone call, I sensed it. I said, admit immediately. Then that night in the ICU, she passed away peacefully. She was only admitted one day, actually less than 24 hours. So everything was meant to be. Then a lot of things worked for him because, like I shared with you all, this youngest brother is very active in Tzu. Then he suggested to me one day, I didn't know there is such a program. Uh, he said, you can be don't know what type of member, I forgot already. But we need to make a donation, I think offering. It was, if I'm not wrong, is 100,000. But not everybody can do it, but you must have the parami and the condition. So I told him, go ahead, no problem. Then immediately after they signed her up, then within 1 or 2 years, I think, she passed away. And the funeral was exceptional. So what happened was, after that, my classmate who were in Alaska, a very close classmate, the lawyer actually, uh, when I went back and I met him, he told me, he said, Kian Kun, wow, your mother really very, very blessed. Her funeral, he said, Dato Tan Sri also not so grand. He said, oh, he said, that celebration, they call it a celebration, because that funeral was very, very well organized, because he joined that program. The Tzu came all out. Also because my brother was there, and that was great honor. then everything was done very well, fulfilled. That's why all these are beautiful understanding and experience. Very good, man. Yeah, sadhu.
Yeah, Radha, I think I would also like to pass away like your mom.
Yeah, that is the best. Last day
Yeah.
admitted,
Yeah.
got him, and at a very good age. And my mother was mobile all the way, until he was 88 years old. I remember. Then sometimes I still want to bring her to the mall to have breakfast or lunch. Then he told me he need wheelchair at that time. But at home, he don't need wheelchair. He can still move. Except when going upstairs, I remember, I still hold his hand, her hand and her body, then assist her. Apart from that, he very good. He very mobile. He can bathe herself, change her own clothes. Then very strong voice. The life was very strong. Uh, he because when he was young, he worked very hard, sacrificed a lot for family. She is really a parent that does her duty very well. Bring up all the kids, children, 9 of us, and it was so beautiful. And she very nice lady, very kind, very helpful, and always smiling. uh, Never like become unhappy over minor thing. Never. The only small complaint he had is after my dad passed away. You know what she told me, He said he expect my dad after pass away, at least come to her in a form of a dream or what. She waited for almost 9 years now. He said he always repeat that phrase that it's not a dream. Alright, I say you don't worry. No need to dream. Dream is attachment. Uh, but sometimes if it manifests, let it be, understand? But no dream is the best because they have good destination. Uh, and all this are like meant to be. Then my mother accept. He said when he saw my father's condition, well, my father, I told you, he admitted to hospital, and that 2 weeks was not easy for him. That's why towards the end, he relate to me. He said, I want to be discharged. Well, every day inside there, the doctor especially all give antibiotic until he cannot take it. He would prefer to go home. Then I make that decision. I told all my other brothers and sisters, we discharge him and we ask him what he wants to do. First thing he told us is Asam Laksa, he want to try. So we wheelchair him and took him out and have. And that day was full of joy for him. And then after that, the next day discharge, I actually drove him back to Alasta with my sister. Then when in Alasta, he was full of joy back home. Then I remember he liked that Penang Adventist hospital that did his operation when he was young. I think 30 over years old that time. A major operation also. But he actually survived, and that was very, very miraculous. It's also because my mother faith very strong. My mother pray in front of Kuan Yin, and like very strong mind. He said, I can die, but my husband cannot die. He said, we are all the children depend on him. That time I was only Form 1, I remember. Form 1 was 1967, 67. So I saw my mother did all those things, but he has faith in Kuan Yin. He said he willing to lose 10 years of her life to replace my father's life. But then turned out my father survived. she also lived very long. So everything was like a blessing. But when I saw this happening, then how he went to the medium and how my father-in-law took over the medium's body and sent the message to her, and she came back and told us all this. That's why I look back and I realize that is Dhamma, that is life, that is what can happen, because my parents are illiterate, but they are good parents. They do their duty very well. They sacrifice a lot. That's why they have good life, and I chose them. My nature chose them to be my parents because of past causes and conditions. So all this, when they manifest, they are very beautiful. That's why I feel a piety towards parents, care for them is very, very beautiful. Do your duty. Very good. Maya, now you continue.
Yeah, because Brother Teo said that this is nature.
Yeah.
My father is getting old.
Yeah.
So I realized that nature is actually taking its course, old age, sickness, and death.
Correct.
So it's moving regardless of how I feel.
Yes.
Whether I feel bad or don't want to accept it.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the individual. It is nature's way of operation.
Yeah, and I cannot be blaming anyone. I cannot blame
Yeah. Nothing to blame.
because he got pneumonia or
Yeah, there's no reality. Everything will come to pass. Dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomena.
Yeah, so if let's say I keep on finding fault that caused my father to be like
No
that.
point on. It's all the thought, the mundane thinking.
Yeah, and then one of my one friend said that a younger person, if that young person have a pneumonia, that young person can get well. But an old person may not get well.
Yeah, not easy. We are at that age, not easy. And actually, old people who have pneumonia are quite common nowadays. Because pneumonia is a condition where the lung actually got a lot of phlegm and liquid, and it can actually cause lung failure, heart failure, and as old age develop, this is something very common. That's why most of the cases, when they go in, they look at the patient, then look at the health condition. Normally it's based on age. Some are a lot younger also, they succumb to it. But most people, because of medical advancement, they can handle. They can actually help to suck out the liquid out and the phlegm and all those things. Then, of course, they have to diagnose, then give the appropriate antibiotic. Then, if they do it correctly, then it will actually lead to the recovery. So nowadays the recovery rate is much better, but provided you are still young. Otherwise, not easy. That's why I remember during the MCO, the virus, we call it the COVID-19 virus. Oh, that one, a lot of people very young also, because of that. It seems the phlegm, wow, not easy that one. You can actually Google and find out the story they go through. Not easy. And some of the doctors who actually on duty, they can tell you it's not easy. One of my classmates, actually the son was a doctor, and during the COVID, he cannot go home and sleep. he rented a unit, apartment unit nearby the hospital. Where he also have concern for the family member and parent at home, where he has to contact with the COVID-19 patient. And it's a pandemic at that time, not easy. So when you hear from all this sharing, you develop more understanding, more compassion. And all this is what life is, reality of life and existence, the first noble truth reality. That's why when causes and conditions are there, things will arise, unfold, manifest. That's why we are in fact quite blessed in the sense that it's a golden era within the last 7 decades, 7 plus, coming to 8 decades. We witness a lot of things that happen. Not only crisis, even this pandemic is very rare one now. And you can have the chance to witness it and survive is really a great blessing. And for the first time, I really saw what movement control order really mean. Curfew, and for our society is still good because it develops the digital economy. I think that time delivery, all the so-called Grab food and all the food, they suddenly take off, and it's meant to be. Then I still remember only one of us can go out. Later on, they allow two. The first time I remember one of us, so I have to drive out or I have to make the order and make arrangement. Then we go and collect. So all this are realities of life and existence that will manifest and unfold. Then if we have the Dhamma, the awareness, the understanding, we actually can develop a lot of understanding. And there's a lot of joy when we have that ability to live those phases with awareness and understanding. Very good, Mayan. Yeah, sadhu.
Brother, there's one more thing I need some understanding. Like the prayers for 49 days, that one, right? Is it a Taoism practice or a Mahayana practice? And if it
no, actually, no need to do all those prayers. You mean they go and do the prayer for 49 days?
No.
No, the observant, yes, is a practice. It's a Chinese culture. The Tao Chat, Yi Chat, Sam Chat, you Cantonese, right?
Yeah, correct. That one.
That one, the 49 days, is not the Buddhist practice. It's not the Buddhist. Because the Buddhist understanding is very simple. The moment the consciousness leaves, that's it. Death has occurred. Then the random of consciousness and whatever filial piety, all those things is separate. Because all this funeral thing, the Buddha has listed down. Make it simple. Cremation and all those things. But filial piety, you can. There was no problem. Then make offering or donation in their name and all those things which you have done. And all these are very noble, very wholesome. Actually, no need to cry and lament one. Because the Buddha in his teaching, he has said, whatever that is of the nature to be born is of the nature to die. And what has been born has already come to pass. No amount of sorrow and lamentation can bring back the dead. Even he himself as a bodhisattva, he went through. His son also died. That's why all living beings, death is a certainty, not only a reality. Whatever that is being born will die. Whatever that has arisen will come to pass. But this is a conditional. So that 49 days, no need to be so concerned. But if there are members in your family that wants to go through that, no harm. Let them observe. But when you understand more important is your understanding that allow you to do the correct thing. The rest are culture, tradition, and some of these are beliefs of that race and culture. So it's up to the individual. If they have that type of belief, that type of culture, let them go ahead, no harm. That's why I never stop my mother from doing the things she wants to do when my dad passed away. I talk to her and I brief my brother and sister. Whatever mother want, we try to let her do. We don't force her. But through explanation, later she comes to understand. Then finally he said, okay, good, is it? The next time when it come to her turn, he go the Buddhist way. He doesn't want all the paper house, the burning, and even the Namolo chanting. He says she don't want. And with that, it become easy for me to like hand over to my other brothers and sisters to manage when the time comes. Well, when the time comes, I actually took a group of Kayamita to Thailand. I remember 2012 year end.
Yes.
Then that night before I flew off with the Kayamita the next morning, the phone call came. And I sensed it, actually, I knew. Then I said, don't worry, I taught you all what to do. I told my brothers. I said, you all go ahead. And it was very well managed. Then I said, I will do my part. That's why my mother get a great part of me. It was Katina, the Thailand trip. And I make offering. And of course I send my pure wish, everything. Then invoke power of marriage, fill-piety, and all the good things that my mom has done for my nature during this segment of his life. So all this tie in very well. That's why he chose the right timing, everything. And there was no necessity for me to fly back too, because the day before I fly, that morning, my youngest brother called me and I said, Amit, then that night itself, I see you, he passed away peacefully. Then when the phone call came, I said, don't worry. Then I make all the arrangement. Then I flew off. I remember that time, Mifo was a treasurer or what, I forgot already. I told her I want to donate that morning, before we reached the airport. So all this, when it's meant to be, it will tie in beautifully. Even for your case also, it's for you to learn, to see, to develop the understanding. So very good.
You put my heart at ease because
today definitely.
Actually. Actually, we wanted to go to the temple where we have put a memorial plate for my father.
Can. That one will be good enough.
Yes. But then, because my brothers are working, so we can only go together in the evening.
No problem.
So, but my older brother reached first, and then he called and said, hey, the temple closed already. Today 7,
Don't have to worry. Just let things be. Then make a new appointment. No problem. Because you only go and formalize all those things. They got a place for you to put the, what they call the urn, right?
Oh, this one, no.
Oh, not yet. Where's your father, the cremation, not yet. Yeah.
Eventually also no radio. It's just a memorial
plate.
Oh,
memorial plaque. They call it a plaque.
Yeah, like that. There's no.
Oh, like that simple. Like that very easy. The one that they buy and put the urn on a compartment on where I saw my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, they all do one. They buy that compartment, very small. But that time was cheaper. I think that time they only pay about 10 over 1,000, I think, 12 or 13,000, I forgot already. But they maintain the chanting for you and all those things. But one off. Which was, to me, is reasonable.
My father, what also the one, even that memorial also are the one when we said,
that's why I say your father very wise. Actually, no need one. You know what Xianhua told the disciple? No? He said, just cremate and spread his ashes around. He said, no need to do anything. The message is very simple. Because the body is just a body, understand? Nothing to actually, I should say, of course, when you talk about the Buddha, the relics and all those things, I mean, people can make use of it if they want to. But no need to lament. No need to go through all those, like, pay a lot of money to do all this. Forget about it. No need. It's the affinity, the philosophy or whatever. Where this life can be parent, maybe past life different, various encounter different, condition different, and not so real, not what you think. That's why everything about life, existence, is about the consciousness. Like that day at the Sunday class sharing Pamasuri there, I taught you all how to reflect, how to reflect since birth until now. I look back, all the people I know when I was young, my hometown, a lot of them have passed away. The elderly one, of course, is obvious. Some very young, but it's just consciousness, their character, all the thing. And later on, I came to the university, and I came out to my career life. Then even my university classmate, my Alaska schoolmate, a lot of them have passed away in last month, 2 or 3. So this thing has become more and more common. That's why when you look at the First Noble Truth reality, they are all not so real, not what you think, just consciousness. Even their existence in that phase, you can only recall through memory, not real. Then even among us, Kayamita, I think, we have less Kayamita that pass away. There are a few, I think, that day we managed to recollect about 3, but relatively less. Most of you all have good life and good parami. So when you all travel, when you all go through your life, you all can have the virtue, the blessing, and the understanding. That's why when you have the Dhamma, it helps. And all these are beautiful, and your particular experience actually help give rise to a lot of condition to explain all this teaching or Dhamma on the reality of life and existence more deeply. That's why all this can be really beneficial. Very good. Sadhu.
Okay. Brother, one last question.
Can.
I just realized that, when Brother talk about your childhood experience, out of the body experience, right? You said that the remnant of
REMNANT. Remnant.
yes.
The balance of consciousness.
The balance of consciousness came out. But why is it not rebirth consciousness that came out?
No, rebirth consciousness over already, gone already. That last thought moment before the passing away, if there is no avijja, there is no rebirth consciousness, or it just ceases. But for most people, there is a rebirth consciousness. That's why the last thought moment, they call it chuti chitta. Malay word chuti is go on leave. That last consciousness, that condition, rebirth consciousness, already over. Understand? after that thing over already, then only the life force, everything stop. Understand? Means no more life force to pump the thing and all that. Then this random of consciousness is what our brain accumulated since birth until now, with all the conditioning, belief system, the knowledge that is accumulated, our habits, our whatever. And this one is like a bundle of memory, And like Krishnamurti say, thought is response to memory, So these are the balance of consciousness. It's like you burn a log, right? Burn until the flame all no more already. Then the smoke all like smoldering already. Then the random of it will float out. But if that being that pass away, that random of consciousness still have delusion, which most people have, then that one can actually create another type of what they call attachment to the world. So they can manifest as hungry ghosts and all those things. But most of those who have the Dhamma and the awareness, when they come out, that thing, you can make use of it to develop understanding. That one can manifest and do a lot of things. You can experiment with it and all things. Because you don't have avijja and you know what this thing is. So it doesn't last that long, but it will be there. That's why when a person passes away, even with avijja, that thing come out or no, and they will be around to listen, and they can observe and see. But when they speak, the loved one cannot hear, but they are around. And you can sense them, they are around. But radiate love, radiate metta, rejoice, and wish them well. It's just like the Theravada Sutta. It's mentioned inside there. Because if you don't think of them and share merit, transfer merit, and do all the necessary, well, they also have avijja. So sometimes they have wrong thought. They will like think of way to alert you or want you to do, because they also have avijja. That's why this hungry ghost or peta, they floating around, a lot of them. So whatever it is, just understand that they exist within that rhyme. But sooner or later, it will be gone, because this one, the energy is not that strong, where there is no more life force from the karmic nature. And that one that float, finally it will disperse. Then some believe after 49 days it disperses and all. Actually that one is nothing to do with the Buddhist teaching. The Buddhist teaching, actually, the Buddha also in the teaching, he said not to get involved with all those things, because they are not conducive for the noble life or enlightenment. All these are curiosity and wanting to know and all those things. But these are reality that manifest, exist. So just let it be. Don't worry. Your question, any more towards that direction or not? You just want to know what that consciousness is, isn't it?
I wanted to know, because before that, whenever Brother Teo talk about your experience, I only hear Brother Teo saying the word
I
consciousness.
came out. I came
but
out. That one is, I actually died when I was young. I was so tired that the craving force that bind my consciousness to my physical form, body, that one dissipate. You know what is dissipate? It like become weaker and weaker and weaker until no more craving force. So no more craving force means it cannot bind my consciousness to the body. Then this balance of consciousness just float out. But there is no fear, nothing. That's why I said that time I didn't even meditate. I don't even know the Fundamental Truth or anything, but I already know how to die. There was no fear, nothing. Then, when it floated out with the craving for all gone, there is no rebirth consciousness or no. Nothing. That's why I say, you will know how to die. That's why after that consciousness was up there, I remember, on the ceiling somewhere. Then I saw my brother walk in and say all those things. Then I call him. I talk to him. He cannot hear me at all. Then I was thinking, what is going on? How come he cannot hear? I speak like when I'm in the body, normal or no. I can hear, I can smell, I'm not sure, because I didn't experience it. But I can hear, I can see, very clear. Then I can even talk now, but because I was not in my physical body, no voice box come out now, no vibration now. That type of consciousness is not there. But I really can speak now, but he cannot hear. Then I realized something is wrong. Then I look now, I saw my body down there. And what happened was, I knew I have to go back to my body. I went in, I cannot go in. That body is like not mine. I cannot take control of the body. But I know how to go in. Then I just somehow, maybe instinct or maybe in the past I have developed the understanding. I just give it a push up. I use the word pop. I went in, but no sound, nothing. It just like a force, just went in. Then it unite with the body again. Then I gain control. Then I straight away went after my brother and asked him, did you just now walk in and say all those things? Then he looked at me and said, you were sleeping like a log. How can you know? I said, don't worry, I just want to confirm that this is what happened. So that one is different. Actually, I died. So not many people can do that, but no point actually. If it's meant to be, not time to die, you will not die. That's why you heard about near-death experience or out-of-body experience. They talk about it. Sometimes in scientific paper or whatever they write about it. These are different. This one, they didn't really die. This one is their astral body come out. Then after that, the astral body return. Then they can relate to you what happened when they are out. It's like astral traveling. But that one, they didn't die. But some go through the process, they're not supposed to die, send back. Then come back to the body again. But I don't know how they go in that one, because nobody write about it. My case one, I can tell you because I went through it. Actually, I died. So that one, is there anything you want to understand beyond that?
I think as it is now, Brother.
No problem. If later you got any question on that, you can ask, no problem. Because these are things that normal people cannot understand. You have to go through. But if you develop awareness-based meditation, you will know how to die. Because you will not have the karmic conditioning taking over your consciousness. And the consciousness will know clearly what is inside, happening inside your form of mind.
Okay, Brother. Thank you very, very much.
Okay. Let us rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, we will now share merit, transferring, then we end. Akasata cha bhumata devanaga mahindika punyang tang anumoditva cirang rakantu loka sasana Ettavata ca amehi sampadan punya sampadan sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo Idang me nyatina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo devo asatakalina sasu sampati hetu cha fito bhavatu loko cha raja bhavatu dhammiko imina punyang kamina mami bala samagamo sattang samagamo hotu yawa nivana patiya sadhu sadhu sadhu. Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy wonder. There we end. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.